Or Ryan, maybe you use that device, pull a revenue limit worksheet, and go for it. So, sure. Want me to do it?
Sure.
Why don't you
these here
grab
are the
this?
two the
Why don't
ones you
grab
ran at
this?
500,
I'll keep talking
825.
about
Right.
Fund 46.
Yes.
Okay?
I'm very interested.
Okay. And that would be connected to a speaker, so that's fine. And you don't need a mouse. You want the mouse?
It was 4.1%. If you take a 42 million out.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, this is power, so that's
Okay.
gonna be okay. All right. Need it just black for a second. That's a new computer, so it should be fine. All right, so we have the backup documents for the revenue limit worksheet. Ryan's just gonna go get the actual revenue limit worksheet, and we'll try to get to that amount, is what we're gonna do. So some additional things for tonight to talk about that would impact the budget. If you turn into, looks like this. Okay? So,
The picture. Okay.
so the great thing is that our after-school program has a lot of momentum, a lot of need, which is great, like families taking advantage of it. So that's one of the things we talked about right out of the gate when we met with our community partners is creating a student intern position. So it's like a youth apprenticeship. So we have some fine young students, seniors in the high school that have expressed interest in taking on that responsibility of being like a student intern. So we're being conservative and we're adding into the budget, paying $8 an hour for 10 hours a week for 25 weeks. The total that would cost would be $2,153. We would like to add that into the Fund 80 levy. It's pennies impact in the big picture, but we just want to be open about that now. And then also, we are providing some small snacks and in need of some supplies to help with the program, and being conservative and putting in $1,000 for that. So that would be a small amount that would change in the revenue limit worksheet. So Ryan actually
What's that, 32
is,
something?
so that would get added to the dollar amount that's already in there. So we'll do that today too.
As he's reworking it.
Yeah, as he's reworking
Got
it,
it.
so that's perfect. So we can add that little bit into it because that will have, all of that's the big picture of what your comfort level is for defeasance after all. Because even though it's a small amount, $3,153, you might want to back that out of the overall dollar amount you were just talking about because it's a tax after all. So Ryan, you gotta make sure you add that 3,153 to the worksheet that you currently have, okay? All right, so, we're gonna, while he's doing that, we're gonna skip forward a little bit more. We're gonna go near the back of this entire packet, and it's got, looks like this, capital projects funds. 4X. Okay, so there's a Fund 41 out there. We're going to skip that, that's a trust fund. What we've been talking about is Fund 46. Fund 46 is a long-term capital, sorry, I said that wrong. Okay, we're skipping the capital expansion fund, which is a special tax levy. We're not doing a special tax levy. We're working within the budget. We already talked about defeasance as an option, then also Fund 80. So this is a capital improvement trust fund for Fund 46. What it is the day that we start it, we have 5 years that it needs to be committed to it. It shows up as a shared cost for the school district. So we put it in $200,000 today, $2 today, whatever it is, 5 years, let it sit in the hopper, and then when it comes out, the state of Wisconsin actually gave us credit for spending it in the day that it gets put in there. So in our model in the state of Wisconsin, depending on how you're funded, this primary, secondary, and tertiary aid, spend more, get more aid. It typically is covered in your revenue limit worksheet itself where you have a cap, there's aid, and there's a tax. So the positive part of it is, it says if you get more aid, the levy goes down, right? So with this, I just want to make sure I don't miss anything, okay? So Capital 46, projects in the approved long-term capital improvement plan. Okay, so we actually, when we established the Fund 46, it doesn't have to be super specific, but we did say, hey, it's gonna go towards things like a roof, it's gonna go towards HVAC. So we absolutely have roofing needs and HVAC needs in the district, so actually the HVAC needs, we made huge progress on in the referendum. So when it comes to Fund 46, on page 12 of this, it says, board approval of a 10-year capital improvement plan. We're actually gonna bring a 15-year capital improvement plan. So, but we've already established this. So this is not a matter of, do we wanna have a Fund 46 account? We have a Fund 46 account. It has got under $2,000 in it, right? So the clock's ticking on that from it started. I shared earlier with John before the meeting, I said, hey, you know what, I think that clock, I think we're up to next year's 5 years actually with that, because it happened before I got here. And then we did try, we had planned on putting additional money in, and then we took it right back out and use that for a tax break for the community. So we already have it all set up, so the reality is, it just comes down to what is the impact for our school district if we were to establish a Fund 46 account? So, or additional money this year put in there. So this page 18.
I just want to clarify that part so I make sure I understand. So there's already a Fund 46 account. That one or that amount is almost used up?
No,
basically,
minimum, we
or-
haven't touched it.
So what, so we're talking about putting more in there?
Correct.
Got it. Got it.
It's a holding account.
Okay.
So strategically, here's a, we know.
Before we couldn't do this.
Obviously, we know there are going to be capital
Right.
improvement needs.
So-
I mean, I have a house,
That
so,
Fund 46 was never there before. It was just started
Okay.
a few years back. You always had to spend it or you lost it.
okay.
So,
This you can put it in and hold.
So, okay, I appreciate the background, thank you.
okay, so we have a fund balance.
Yep.
Fund balance is just a kind of, on any given day, what's our cash flow? It's not what is, when it's not what the fund balance says. That's like at the end of an audit is the deal. So fund balance is not an actual, can't put my hands on an account and say on that day.
It's a
It's
day.
monopoly.
That's the best way to describe it.
Okay.
However, what it does mean for
That's
us,
helpful.
for us, the board has actually has a policy with an amount that you don't want to go below. It's a percentage of
Right.
your operating costs. So when our operating costs go up, the actual amount we need to have in fund balance goes up. When our operating costs go down, you actually have some leeway per policy to drop it. So what's been happening is our fund balance really hasn't been changing much. If anything, it grew for multiple years, and then we took a little bit out, and then it's been kind of level. So right now, we're projecting for this year's budget to take out a fund balance. What's it going towards? $100,000 for the auditorium, $180,000 towards that large roofing project that got done, and then a little bit of operational stuff is what we think will happen in the preliminary budget. So that is an impact on fund balance. So for us, what we figured out was based upon our level of aid. So there's secondary aid, primary aid, and tertiary aid. So in the state of Wisconsin, if I were to go to the GPI and I would say to them, hey guys, we're planning on putting money into Fund 46, what's the impact of that? They would actually have to go into our budget, into like our Baird resource, they would have to go look at how we are aided in order to give us the amount. So we went into the Baird worksheet that we have, our model. We were able to pretty much figure out whatever we put in there, we get 10% back in additional aid of that the next year. So $200,000 equals $20,000 more equalized aid, $20,000 less
So
of
they're
tax.
just giving us the tertiary.
That was it.
Yeah, that was
There
it.
wasn't
'Cause they were
like,
close to 11% I thought
yeah,
on tertiary.
so there really, that was it. So we put in $500,000 into that,
Okay.
and it equated to $50,000. It was that simple. So we were able to, so, and that is not something you have to decide tonight. Okay, so that is something that we can continue to review and consult with our financial advisors. But running the preliminary numbers using our forecast model, we're able to say, for Mayville, not for other districts, but for Mayville, when we put funds in, this is the outcome. Okay, so it's not, it wasn't significant. It's still never a bad thing to do, because you just received $20,000. For $200,000, you received $20,000 extra in aid. We absolutely do have long-range facility needs, right, that are going to be out there, and we're putting money aside for that. So it's always doing, that's doing right, absolutely. So you just have to figure out like what is a comfortable dollar amount, and that is not something that you have to say tonight unless you're trying to equate for next year. This is not an immediate thing, okay? So even if we establish tonight, you say this is what we want, it's not actually a part of the budget, it's not even a part of this because you're proving a preliminary budget and whatever's gonna go on the paper. And even if we had this, I don't even know where it would show up. So we can absolutely do a budget revision during the school year, and the state of Wisconsin will give us full credit for it. So I did want to make sure we talked about it tonight, as far as strategically, maybe we need to start getting in front of this and planning, and there is a benefit for us. It's a 10% of whatever we put aside is into Fund 46. We receive the following year in equalized aid, which results in lowering the levy. We don't see any additional dollars as a school district, but we are putting money aside for capital expenditures.
Here's what I would suggest then, because of that. I say we start at whatever dollar figure the board wants to. My dollar figure is $798, $700. We subtract 4% every year. If the valuation comes in less than 4%, we take that money and we push it into Fund 46.
I get it. Yeah,
So then
keep it
from
as
there,
big a
yep,
level.
and keeping everything equal. So then from there, because.
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
I like that. What the difference is we would have to equate, got it. We have to do an equation to
Well,
figure
it's a
out how to
pretty
get it to
simple
that level.
equation, you'll do it
Yeah,
every year.
you
So
can
if you
equate
back
it
off
every year.
798, 700
Every
this
single
year,
year.
no matter what,
Automatic.
because of the TIF closing out, you got your baseline money, and if you keep subtracting 4% every year, let's say taxes come in or valuation increases 3.50, where you're gonna put 0.50 into Fund 46, so because we have the 4% number. So, and then from there, now you got some type of plan.
The one thing I would say
What if
was
Mayville
we need
suddenly
to,
comes up with a new TIF?
I'm not worried about a new TIF, because here's the thing, the TIF that they're only talking about, you're talking a $250,000 TIF. The TIF they have now is TIF 4, it's got a $5 million valuation, what it would equate to additional dollars for us to be able to put into a Fund 39, 50,000. So that's what $5 million evaluation would get you, is an additional about 50 grand. So that you can expand into these extra things. The only TIF I've heard of so far is the downtown TIF, and you're not looking at taking property.
It's not a big
that It's
dollar.
not a big dollar amount. It's something that I'm not even concerned about. If there is a huge TIF that all of a sudden comes in, which I would be shocked, which we've got say in that, then from there, obviously, we adjust, we annex a kind of a plan. You annex your strategic planning at this, and
Well,
you
that's-
annex it, basically.
That's new value, it really.
Yeah, because right now, that TIF is not scheduled to close till 2030. So it's all the $5 million TIF. I'm not seeing any new TIFs on the horizon there.
My
Like, we need to be
question is
worried
the
about.
vouchers. Had been quite a bite last year and really
yeah,
raised there.
we gotta wait and we'll find out what happens there.
Was that really
So right
raised their
now-
mill rate last year even?
Right now, Ryan, are you to manually enter that 164,772?
Yeah, that's the number.
How do vouchers raise mill rate? Help me understand.
We have to levy,
Yeah.
per the state of Wisconsin,
Right.
that just automatically gets added to the levy. We have no say in
Yeah.
that.
Okay, it's built
Yeah,
in.
So it's just added
You don't
on.
even-
Okay.
You don't even get a list of the names of the kids.
Okay.
You're supposed to come up with that, that was pretty close to that.
Yeah, now, based upon our size, we don't think that that number is just gonna keep hiking
I don't think so.
like that, because we don't have that many schools that have an opportunity to participate.
No.
However, it definitely did make some major progress over the past couple of years. So it is something to be mindful of. And I think that that is a conversation that the board should have, because that overall does impact, that's in this levy rate.
Correct, should be 100.
So it's 164.
I was
is what
looking
we
in
have
here,
right
and
now.
it wasn't on this one, that's why.
It's gonna be over here. Right there it
Okay,
is.
okay.
So Ryan, what were you able to pull up here? So what do we have on this worksheet then?
I highlighted, so on the yellow bottom left, that's the new evaluation. The other numbers in yellow are the ones we're looking at, so that's the current levy rate, and then that is the number where you could plug in an increase. That Fund 80, I did put the 3,000 in there.
Okay,
Okay.
good to know. So now, everything is up to date with the exception.
I do have
This
a problem
line
with the
right
Fund 80,
here. Okay?
just a slight one. I'm concerned that we continue to increase students, although I've heard other people say that it can go down as well, so. But I still think that, are we gonna have enough money in there if we do receive another increase of students? Do we have enough money in there to maybe?
I think one of the things when I talk to our community partners, because because this is a Fund 80 piece, we're trying to be a team as we approach this. And one of the pieces for this was, hey, let's go slow to go fast.
Got that.
Let's get the model built, let's get this delivery on point, and feel good about what we're able to do. The student intern, we were already talking about it, and we just weren't sure, and now we're like, yeah, let's for sure add that into it.
So if I have a deficit in the Fund 80, or we have a deficit
We
in the
pick
Fund
it
80,
up.
who picks that up? Does it
We
come
do,
out
the
of
school
we do,
district.
So it comes out of Fund 10 then? at that
Yeah,
point.
correct.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear of that. Can you
I think that
deal with that the next year?
Absolutely, this is
Can.
just for this year alone.
This is just for.
And to me, it's a good way to get things started, because we want to make sure everything's all squared away and that it goes well at the state of Wisconsin level, and that we're growing this.
I see.
You know, so strategically, I think it's better to get it done right versus try to go.
Well, no,
full
I'm all
scale.
about getting it done right, I'm just concerned if we start.
Fund 46, we can't touch any of that money.
everything that's in there now, except what we added tonight,
Yeah, 5
is
years.
literally just those
No,
2 staff members, which is actually
Okay.
1.67 staff members, so those are controlled costs.
Okay.
If you have to start, if it gets so big, you have to move somewhere and literally rent a space.
No, if we run short, drastically short of money during the year, we can't touch it.
Can't use it. So what Dick had just said, if you're putting money into Fund 46, what matters to us would be like, if we decided that we want to put 200,000 in this year, we want to come back to it again, we're trying to help kind of get to a number in this account, and we keep doing it, there'll be a point where there'll be a giant flag over here saying, hold on, guys, because next thing you know, we have those funds, they're available, they're for very specific needs, right? For capital maintenance needs, not for staffing, not for paying bills. So at that point in time, we need to make sure our cash flow is good. So right now, we looked at our cash flow already this last spring and summer, and we believe we're in a good spot.
We have
So-
multiple years of records where I keep month by month where everything happens, so we could do a 12-month, literally a 365-day like payroll hits here, taxes hit here, health insurance is here, vendor payments are here, because based on the funding and when it does come in, it's so sporadic. When I was in another district, there was a short borrowing period, just because you knew you were gonna have money, it just, they
Wasn't
hadn't
there yet.
opened it up to you yet. So we would have to just see the timing on when that all, like at what point is our low point of the year?
In services I went to, when the 5 years is up, we can use whatever money goes in there at any time. We didn't have to wait 5 years for this.
That's what I thought
Like the
too.
new money?
That's what I thought.
The new money.
So, okay, so what Dick said, that's a different thing. So, when you put your money into Fund 46, and
Which
I
we
need to
started like
confirm it,
4 years ago.
that literally, like, as long as you started it, if I put the money in today, I can take it out in a year from now still.
Right, when the 5
Because
years.
I-
Because that would be
because
5
my
years
5
from the
years is
start.
done. That's what I think too.
That's the in services I
That's
went
the
to.
same training I had too.
See, and I don't
So-
know that, and I was a little concerned about that as well.
So we want to do a little bit more research on that. What we did confirm is that money part, like if you, the aid part. So if you put it in today, we will see a 10% ROI in aid the next year, which therefore strategically would bring taxes down by that same amount, the $20,000. So $200,000 equals about $20,000 in levy going down, coming back in the form of aid. So we ran multiple scenarios, and that's what we saw. We do want to, because if you look at the resources, none of it talks about what you just said. For the Fund 46 presentation, I emailed out that PowerPoint, doesn't hit that. It talks about 5 years, but it doesn't get to that exact thing. So my training that I have is what Dick just said. So the clock started, I believe, 4 years ago on this, before, okay? So that by a year from now, we should be able to take that $1,200 out, okay? So, but if you put $200,000 in, I think you'll be able to take $201,002 is what I believe it is, because the clock started then. I just need to confirm that, so
Because
Ryan and I,
otherwise, it would be a fool,
so when does it
I'm
reset
not seeing a
itself?
Fund 46, in me personally, you guys might disagree, I don't think it's advantageous for us to do a Fund 46 for just this year. Because of the,
oh, I agree with you.
just because
We
of the
would
way
have
the
to put more
numbers
money
are
in, but there
shaking
wasn't
out, and if we reduced our debt, I'm getting with the compounding interest,
Yeah.
I'm getting much more return on investment.
Yeah,
So,
that's
and that's
more
just
strategic.
right now. So, and things could change, but in my mind, when I'm looking at this is what I'm seeing, and you guys might disagree.
There's way more benefits, big picture.
Correct.
To pay off the bonds
That's what I'm
earlier,
seeing.
based upon this mill rate opportunity that the district has. And so that's doing right by everybody, I think, as
Correct.
well, for sure. Fund 46, we definitely know we have needs. I guess what I would like to do is to bring to you a 15-year look at this, and then take all of this into account. And now that we understand we are able to prove there are some financial benefits
Correct.
to doing it to the district. And when we bring a plan, I think the next part is, we just need to make sure that Ryan and I can say to you, here's our cash flow, here's our comfort level, we need to give you a recommendation for that. If you were to say right now that you wanted to do $200,000 that's going into Fund 46, I think both of us would be like, yeah, that's not a problem. But I think like, hey, more data would be a good idea, so we can really include that in a strategic piece. This conversation about the defeasance and the mill rate, that is being strategic. We're being strategic about that. The other piece would be like, yeah, that's probably good business, but I can't give to you the domino effect of all of it yet, but we'll get there. So I thought tonight, the Fund 46 is a conversation to discuss and just start kind of planting a seed on the topic. But the other one, we need a direction from you on what is gonna happen, and we need it tonight, because we wanna put it in the paper for tomorrow. So all the other stuff is a work in progress.
So what goes in the paper, we do an annual budget packet. I don't know how many people pick them up, we do post it online, but that gives them another resource to cross-reference to what's in the paper. Basically, what's in that paper is what is gonna be spoken to on the 28th, outside of any changes. One of those changes, which so these are numbers Steve Guy hasn't put in yet, these are basically third Friday count numbers.
Yeah, we don't know, they may give us
If
something
this
different.
falls down by one, we're gonna lose roughly $9,800 of levy authority, so this number, the Fund 10 levy would go down. Can you go over to like column
Sure.
M and scroll up a little bit? So change that to 1,030, that one over here. It's like cell 35.
Okay. Point again to where, you tell me what to do. And I'm-
D35.
Okay, go down here and change this number?
Nope, keep going down. It's highlighted.
Sure, got it.
That one, turn it to like
Yep.
1,030.
Yep.
1,030.
1,030.
Well, 130 is.
Yeah, you're close. It's not gonna look good.
That would be a real problem.
Okay, now go up to this one here where you have it highlighted in yellow. Column N. Oh, it didn't change.
Didn't change it. That one didn't.
Oh, yeah, put it to a drastic change then,
Sure, okay.
which I don't think will happen. Cause it's all based on our 3-year average, put like 1,000 in there.
Yeah, but we've already got those numbers.
That's what we think, but last year can change up, so that's why we pushed the meeting back. Like, we had the meeting as late as we could last year, and then DPI said that kid's not yours.
So Ryan,
And we ended up under levying by one kid.
That's correct, that's correct.
Wow.
Did it change?
so I put 1026 in there and said you levy to your maximum.
Okay. Then our decline, it's probably with whatever declining enrollment was. Then we probably don't have to worry about it changing.
So what we need to do right now is we need to
That
focus on
equals
that
that.
one right there.
What's that?
And we need to come back over this
That
way.
3-year rolling average hasn't changed on there.
Right now, it's showing the
That's
857.
1,059.
So right now it's 857, and per the conversation with the board, the target is to try to get to 977. So I'm gonna play in the sandbox, and we're gonna enter a dollar amount in there, and that's literally school finance. So this is, the revenue limit worksheet is going to give us the dollar amount.